Biggest shame of my life. Skip Bayless exposes Tom Brady's draft day betrayal. Skip Bayless has always been known for his fiery takes, bold statements, and emotional outbursts on live television. But his latest rant about Tom Brady has quickly become one of the most talked about segments in sports media this year. Following the 2025 NFL Draft, Bayless accused Brady of committing what he called the biggest shame of his life. For someone who has built an entire career on never holding back his opinions, the gravity of that statement sent shockwaves through the football world. The draft day decision that sparked outrage. In his first year working as a front office executive, Tom Brady was under the spotlight. Fans and analysts were eager to see how his legendary playing career would translate into decision-making power in the boardroom. The 2025 NFL Draft was Brady's chance to prove that he could evaluate talent as sharply as he once read defenses on the field. However, Brady's choice, or, in Bayless' eyes, his refusal, has turned into a controversy. Brady and his staff passed over a quarterback prospect that many believed could develop into a franchise cornerstone. Instead of making the bold pick, Brady focused on defensive reinforcements and depth across the offensive line. For Bayless, it wasn't just a matter of strategy. It was betrayal. Skip Bayless' explosive reaction. On his show, Bayless unleashed a fiery critique that stunned both his co-hosts and his viewers. He accused Brady of forgetting the very underdog spirit that defined his own career. Tom Brady was the 199th pick in his draft, Bayless shouted. He was the overlooked kid who proved everyone wrong. And now, when it's his turn to give another young quarterback the same shot, he turns his back. It's disgraceful. It's betrayal. And for me, it's the biggest shame of my life covering this game. What made Bayless' tirade resonate even more was the passion in his delivery. This wasn't just about football decisions, it was about principle. Bayless positioned Brady's decision as a moral failing, not just a front office miscalculation. He framed it as a betrayal of the very values that had once made Brady the ultimate underdog hero. The quarterback who got away. At the center of the debate was a talented college quarterback, a dual-threat playmaker with raw skills and an undeniable competitive edge. Though not universally projected as a first-round pick, many scouts saw him as a player who could thrive with the right coaching. Bayless believed that Brady, more than anyone else, should have recognized that potential. Instead, the quarterback slid down the board until a rival team finally selected him. For Bayless, watching that unfold live was like reliving the mistakes teams once made with Brady himself. This was history repeating itself, Bayless lamented. And Tom Brady, of all people, should have stopped it. The irony that cuts deep. The irony of the situation was a major point of Bayless' outrage. Brady, the man who built a career on defying the odds, refused to take a gamble on a player who embodied the same underdog DNA. Bayless hammered this point relentlessly. Tom Brady was supposed to be the one guy in the NFL who understood what it felt like to be doubted. Instead, he became just like the scouts who doubted him. That's betrayal. That's hypocrisy. That's the biggest shame I've ever seen. For Bayless, the betrayal wasn't just about the player Brady overlooked. It was about Brady failing to honor his own story. The quarterback who once represented opportunity had now denied it to someone else. Fans and analysts weigh in. Bayless' words ignited a firestorm online. Some fans sided with him, calling Brady's draft strategy too safe and unimaginative. They echoed Bayless' sentiment that Brady had forgotten his roots. Others defended Brady, pointing out that his job as an executive was to address immediate roster needs, not chase sentimental storylines. Still, the controversy stuck because of the history between Bayless and Brady. For years, Bayless had been one of Brady's most vocal defenders, often calling him the greatest quarterback of all time and refusing to let critics diminish his legacy. That's what made his sudden turn against Brady so jarring. It wasn't just another hot take, it was a dramatic rupture in one of the most high-profile media narratives in sports. Brady's front office legacy at stake. While Brady's on-field accomplishments are untouchable, his front office career is now under the microscope. This first draft was supposed to set the tone for his leadership off the field. Instead, it has been overshadowed by Bayless' stinging accusations. The risk for Brady is clear. If the passed-over quarterback becomes a star, this decision will haunt him for years. Every touchdown, every highlight, and every breakout performance will be tied back to the question of why Brady didn't believe in him. On the other hand, if the quarterback fizzles out, Brady will look justified. But even then, the emotional sting of Bayless' words will linger in the conversation. Bayless' personal investment. What made the rant stand out was how personal it felt. Bayless wasn't just angry, he seemed heartbroken. "I've watched this game for decades," he said, his voice cracking. "And I've seen players miss their chance because nobody believed. I thought Tom Brady, of all people, would never let that happen on his watch. But he did. And it's the biggest shame of my life." That level of emotion turned the story from just another draft controversy into something bigger. It became a conversation about opportunity, belief, and the way stories come full circle in sports. Bayless cast himself not just as a commentator but as a witness to history repeating itself, and he made sure his audience felt the weight of it. What comes next? For Brady, the only way forward is through results. If his roster performs, his draft choices will look wise in hindsight. But if the team struggles, or if the young quarterback Bayless defended becomes a breakout star, the criticism will only grow louder. Bayless, meanwhile, has already cemented this rant as one of his defining moments. Love him or hate him, he knows how to capture the emotions of fans and channel them into national debate. His heartbreak over Brady's decision struck a chord with those who still see sports as more than just strategy and numbers. Final thoughts. Skip Bayless' explosive accusation that Tom Brady committed the biggest shame of my life by betraying a young quarterback prospect has created a powerful media storm. It's not just about one draft pick, it's about what Brady represents, and whether he has remained true to the underdog spirit that defined him. This draft may be remembered less for the players selected and more for the debate it sparked. For Brady, it's a reminder that his new career will be judged with the same intensity as his old one. For Bayless, it's another unforgettable chapter in a career built on passion, fire, and never backing down from calling out even the legends he once defended. Whether Brady's decision proves right or wrong in the years to come, the betrayal Bayless described will linger in sports culture. And for fans, the irony of the underdog who refused to believe in another underdog will remain one of the most compelling storylines of this NFL era.